Hello, and welcome to this video presentation on how to install ApexSQL Audit, a SQL Server auditing and compliance tool that audits all operations performed on the audited SQL Server instance, including DDL and DML changes, activities related to logins, users, permissions, and security. In this video, we're going to explain all ApexSQL Audit components as well as how to perform a complete ApexSQL Audit installation to audit both local and remote SQL Server instances. ApexSQL Audit consists of three basic components: Main Application, Serverside Components, and ApexSQL Audit Reporting Application. To start with, let's explain the Main Application components. The Main Application is the core of ApexSQL Audit and includes the following. The first component is the User Console, a graphical user interface that is used to configure SQL Server instances auditing via basic and advanced auditing filters, create and manage alerting, create reports, as well as for auditing instances status information, overall configuration, and maintenance tasks. The second component of the main application is the Central Repository Database, a SQL Server database that stores all the data collected by the data gathering service, as well as the auditing configurations and exported reports files. The Central Repository Database can be installed only on a SQL Server hosted by the same computer that hosts the ApexSQL Audit Central Service and Application GUI. The third component is the ApexSQL Audit Central Instance, or service, which is a Windows service that manages and communicates with remote audited SQL Server instances by providing them with configuration details. In addition, it is responsible for storing the collected data in the Central Repository Database. The final component in the main application is the Serverside Components, another Windows service which enables auditing of local SQL Server instances. Now, let's check how to install the main application. The ApexSQL Audit installer consists of only one executable file, which includes different installation components. Once the file is started, the end-user license agreement can be seen by clicking on the appropriate link. In the first step, users need to choose which ApexSQL Audit components are going to be installed and click Next. For now, let's only choose the main application and proceed through the wizard. In the next step of the wizard, users choose the location where the application files will be installed and whether to install a desktop icon or not. After quick processing, the wizard will lead to the Central Instance Installation step. Here, the user needs to select a local SQL Server instance where the Central Repository Database, which will hold audited information, will be created. The user also needs to provide valid credentials, as well as to choose a location for the folder that will hold temporary files. If the Advanced Options checkbox is ticked, users can also specify a port which will be used to connect to the SQL Server instance, as well as the location of database files, and customize timeout duration on connection to the SQL Server. When everything is set, click on the Install button. Wait for a couple of moments for processing to finish, and installation will conclude with the information screen, which also allows users to immediately start ApexSQL Audit. It is important to understand that once the ApexSQL Audit main application is installed, auditing of SQL Server instances does not commence immediately. The user is required to start the application console, add SQL Server instances which need to be audited, and specify auditing filters, after which auditing will be started. As mentioned before, the main application will install core components of ApexSQL Audit and allow auditing of local SQL Server instances. If users need to audit some remotely located SQL Server instances, another ApexSQL Audit component will be required, and this is ApexSQL Audit Serverside Components. The Serverside Components, as mentioned in the start of this video, is a Windows service which communicates remotely with the main ApexSQL Audit service and allows auditing of remote instances. With this in mind, it is clear that the server-side components need to be installed on the remote machines which host SQL Server instances that the user wants to audit remotely. So if we advance through the installation wizard as before, we'll again reach a step to choose ApexSQL Audit components to install. This time, let's select the server-side components. And this is where we part ways with the main application installation. There are no additional inputs from the user required. Click Next when server-side components are checked, and the wizard will complete in a short few seconds. The final component of ApexSQL Audit is the reporting application. This component can be installed on all machines inside the local network or domain to allow different users to access the audited data from their workstations in order to create different reports. The installation process is similar to the main application installation, but greatly simplified. Simply choose the ApexSQL Audit Reports component in the Select Components step and click the Next button to proceed. In the following step of the wizard, choose the folder location and whether the icon should be created or not. Click on the Install button and watch the installation finish in a short few seconds. Finally, start ApexSQL Audit Reports, and when prompted for Central Repository location, simply choose your SQL Server where the main application has been installed and click Connect. This will connect you to the repository, and reports can now be created in the ApexSQL Audit Reports standalone application. Thanks for watching. For more information, please visit apexsql.com.